So today I just kind of wanted to talk about the power of having a strong silhouette value in your design and then thumbnails and things like that. So just a really quick lesson, nothing too crazy, nothing too long. So yeah, we will start with that. Whenever I start on kind of in a Photoshop document, what I like to do is I'll go to File, Create New, and I usually use something like a 5,000 by 5,000 pixel document, 300 pixels, and then I'll create it. This gives me kind of like kind of a ginormous surface. Um, when it comes to silhouette value and what's important about it, let me get this document started. So another thing I like to do is just get like a mid-tone gray, and then I'll just try to fill that into in, into the document. All right. So now I've got either a gray surface or white surface, and this usually is pretty good to help me not feel, because it's a middle contrast, so you're not having to deal with as many values in between, right? You're not so far from white and you're not so far from black. You're kind of in the middle, so anything you do black and white wise, it'll look at least decent. And I've got my Wacom tablet here. I'm using Wacom, not using a mouse to do this. So let me find a decent brush. These are general brushes. These dry media brushes aren't the worst. Um, Wet media brush, that's not bad either. It's like oil painting. I like this one because it looks like it's got kind of a little bit of grunge to it, and you can see that it's got a little bit of tail, so it's got a little bit of pressure sensitivity. So as I make my strokes here, you can see that I'm getting some um, very interesting behavior. So when we talk about silhouettes, the silhouette value of designs, um, it's super important because let's see, if you've got very strong silhouette value, it's easy for you to tell good characters. Like you can tell a lot of characters just based on their silhouettes, right? So like I'm gonna pull some up. I'm just gonna do some, and you'll be able to tell based on their silhouette who they are, right? And just so you guys know the power of silhouette, I'm gonna post these here. I'm gonna also post these in the chat, and you guys will be able to. Oh, okay, I understand. You'll understand instantly why silhouette value is super important. All right. So let's just dive in. Let's go in right here. All right. Just looking at this silhouette, we all know exactly who this character is. You don't need any color. You don't need any lines. You don't need anything. You need black. You need white. You need the outline, essentially, and that's it. You know exactly who this character is. Obviously, it's Superman. Joking, of course. It's Goku, right? Just regular base Goku. All right? Then we look here. I mean, silhouette value is so important for the readability of your characters. They can perform a lot of actions and it's clear, right? What you want is very strong, very strong, so that if in the dark somebody can tell it's your character. And it also gives that memorability, right? Strong shapes that stick in the mind for a longer time, right? You see these round circles, you know it's Mickey Mouse. You see the little nose, you see the long pointy ears, the pose, the giant feet, Bugs Bunny. You see the spiky hair, the skateboard, the laid back laissez-faire attitude. Oh, I know that's Bart Simpson, right? That's good silhouette design. That's good character design, right? Let's do one more. Boom. Who's that? You know who it is. It's Sonic the Hedgehog, right? Easy to identify based on good, solid silhouette design. All right? So I say that to say that it's important for you guys to practice your silhouette thumbnails, right? So for you guys, I want you guys to do 20 quick black silhouettes of characters or props for about 10 minutes or so. Don't think about the details or anything like that. Don't think about anything like that. Just a bunch of really quick sketches. You can do a character, pick a theme for yourself, or an asset, right? And then just mix and match, right? I want to do an example for you guys, all right? So, usually when you're doing something like this, it's the beginning of a project, right? And at the studio, wherever you're working, right, they might say, hey, you, Malik, we need a new sword, or we need a new chest, or we need a new wand, or we need a new barrel. I need some concept ideas. I need some ideas for what this barrel is going to look like in the world. Right? So you run back to your desk. Run back to your desk. All right. I got to do this. What am I going to do? So the first thing you do is you grab your fancy brush and you start doing this. You start trying to draw yourself maybe a barrel or a chest. And you go boom, 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 boom. Let me start. No. Wrong. Don't do that. The first thing you should do is you want big brush. All right? Maybe even do a little reference, right? If they provide you a reference at work, I'm going to look up some treasure chests. All right? If they provide you a reference at work, cool. If they don't, fine too. Look up your own, right? If it's supposed to, because if you're working for Fortnite, you're going to want to look at Fortnite artwork to make sure that you're in the line of Fortnite treasure chests or Fortnite swords, right? Like you want to be in that art style. But if they just say, hey, we need a treasure chest for blah, 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 we need a bunch of designs. So I'm going to come up with a bunch of designs for how this is going to look. So what I would usually do is I'll just come in, maybe block in some color, right? Block in some color. And these are supposed to be thumbnails too, thumbnail sized images, right? And I'll use the gray in the background to cut out my shape, right? All right, so this is one type of chest like this. It could be like this, where it's kind of like rounded, or we can go back, right? And then maybe something with a little more character, right? I'm just gonna start I'm just trying to just trying to give myself different ideas. Right? I'm just going to draw some different shapes, and I'm going to turn those into different types of chests. Maybe even a circle chest. I've never seen a circle chest before. But this point, my goal is just to throw ink on paper, get ideas out. Right? So now I can go X on my keyboard, bring this down a little bit. It's just then I use this to maybe carve it up. All right. This is our chest. What would it look like? All right. Like a Pokeball. That one's a little more ornate. Then I'll just keep going. That's what you're just kind of seeing where everything's gonna take you. Maybe this one's got some tentacles or something that's coming out of it. All right. So the idea is you're just constantly just iterating, figuring out what you want, figuring out what you don't like. And because I'm not using any lines, I'm just using the black, the white, the gray to kind of inform my decisions. And if I don't like it, I can put it back. I can erase it. I can bring it back. I can take it away. Right? I'm not worried about detail, the line, or anything like that. I'm just kind of worried about what the overall form is gonna look like. All right. All right. Maybe something like that, where the box kind of opens in a different kind of way. Maybe something like that. All right. So you're just exploring and trying to figure out what looks good, what doesn't, extending stuff, and you you can do a lot with you can do a lot with black and white. right, that you might not be able to do if you're starting to draw lines and stuff like that. So somebody said, okay, so I need, I got 2, 4, 6, 8, 9. So I've just got 9 just super basic ones. Now and then I'm gonna go, okay, so do any of these shapes jump out to you? If I show this to like the art director, does any of these like look like the direction you want to go in? Or if you're empowered in that position, they'll say, hey, pick the 3, your top 3 that you like, and then push those forward. So you circle 3, so you maybe go simple, a little complex, and then maybe practical, right? So you pick the next 3 that you're gonna do, right? And then you push those further, right? So now for me, what I usually like to do is I might take this step into 3D where I would then like model the shapes that I have, right? Like I would export these individually, then model them, and then I'd export them out in different poses or something like that, and then be able to come back and then detail that even more. So this is just like the first step to that. So I just wanted to get you guys introduced to the thumbnails, to the thumbnailing and aspect of this. I want you guys to try this for yourself. Um, I want you guys to just pick maybe a theme, a prop, right, and then do 10 different um, thumbnails. They don't have to be perfect. They don't have to be like detailed out. Just some gestures of your thought process through, maybe it's a weapon, maybe it's a space trash can, maybe it's a spaceship, maybe it's a new type of lamp, right? Like do something that um, has strong silhouette value, and then try to see what you can dive out, or essentially find in the depths of your mind, and really try to create something interesting, right? So that you will give yourself some options, and then we can go from there. So these are just the little pieces, the little processes that you will get and you'll be able to use when you're creating different types of concept. And I want to know that you guys are up on the up and up, right? And another thing you can do is, when you've got all your shapes and stuff, you can even try to flip them to see if they look good the other way, right? That's another thing that artists usually do, is like they'll see, and it's good for balance as well, right? It's good for balance as well, right? Does it look good this way? Does it look good that way? You're, you know, just checking it out, seeing what it looks like. Don't don't be afraid to flip it, do a little, say, oh, okay, this doesn't work, then flip it back, right? Trial and error. This is the trial and error phase of the drawing process. You're getting to try a lot of things. You're getting to design a lot of things. You're getting to put a lot of, like, there's at this point there's no wrong answer. There is no wrong answer, right? Anything you do kind of flies. So, my suggestion is go big with the brush. Find something with a little bit of texture, a little bit of, if you want to make one of the, like, do like we did the first class where you make your own brushes, have at it, right? You can do that. You can start to then just throw some ink down. Do some. You don't have to do the chest or the treasure chest, because I did the treasure chest. You don't have to. You can do something else, right? Do a different type of prop, maybe a type of character, right? And if you're doing character, like, make sure your character. If you're drawing some sort of alien, like, let me see, if I'm doing aliens, like I do. Big alien, tall alien, wide alien, right? Slimy alien. You know, it's just it's one of those things that once you start to do it, it gets kind of fun. All right. It gets a little fun once you start to really I can just start to see different things like and it's like you know is it Bob Ross that says happy accidents, right? Like things happen, you start to see different things, right? You start to like your mind because of how you know your mind is putting two and two together, you know. Might even go a little closer. And the further away I go from it, the better some of them will kind of look, right? So like this is kind of cool. Maybe kind of like a little scarab alien, you know, like a little dude. This little dude just he just comes out, he scurries around and does a little bad shit, you know, every once in a while, you know. Maybe this is like a kind of like a slug type alien. Give him some sort of right. Let's see. This could be like some sort of X. Just give this guy some wings. Ooh, never mind. Let's see. Even the lines that I'm using might be a little too thin for my liking. Right? Let's give this guy some sort of gonna put like 30 eyes on this guy. And you can get a lot of inspiration from like different places too, right? You can get a lot of inspiration from different places. You can get a lot of inspiration for this stuff from bugs, from fish, right? There's just so much. There's so much out there. There's so much inspiration and let's see. Maybe this guy's form of defense, right? Maybe he uses these kind of like. You ever seen those little silver fish or whatever? Is that what they're called? Silver dollars? I don't know what those things are fucking called. But there's like those little animals that you'll find every once in a while. People say don't touch them, but I always touch them. But yeah, you know, like you can start to maybe make this. Maybe this guy's got one of those little. There you go. Like a little hook that he uses to dangle in the fish, make the fish think, "Oh, I'm safe. I'm safe. Come eat me. Meet me. I'm all sad up here. And he uses that to kind of resonate sound out, and so yeah, I've got some a little bit of monsters, a little treasure. So like you can start to really lose yourself when you start doing a bunch of these kind of cool little thumbnails, and let your ideas kind of run wild. So I took it a little further than I was supposed to, went a little longer than I expected. um, Sorry about that. I'm gonna let you guys go attack this assignment. I'm gonna post mine up there to give you guys a little bit of inspiration, a little bit of inspo. Mine might not be the best, but I bet you guys can come up with some really cool prop thumbnails and things like that. All right. I appreciate you guys once again. This is Ty. This is Concept Art 2. I look forward to seeing the things that you guys create for this class. All right. You guys have any questions for me before I close this out? You got any questions for me, Malik?
No questions.
Okay. All right. Cool. All right. As long as the assignment is clear to you, you are free to go, man. I appreciate your time. I don't know if you can see. Can you even see me? Let me see.